Oh man.
That's not fair, Jim.
Get one of him.
Oh yeah. I went through everything from third grade with him.
Probably down the road. I saw you over last night.
Hey, James Walker.
No, I'm taking yours.
But 2 or 3 years ago, he struck it big in the oil business and overnight became a wealthy man. Now then, from the good old stock of WHS of 56, he wanted to show off a little bit how a person from North Carolina could go out to Texas and be successful with all those folks out there. So he decided that he would build him the biggest ranch-style house that could be found in the state of Texas. Big houses, so he was not satisfied. So he decided that he would build him the biggest swimming pool that could be found in the state of Texas. So our classmate, who had made it real big in oil business, had plenty of money. He hired a contractor, and he built the biggest swimming pool that could be found anywhere in that state. But again, our classmate from 56, something special, you know. He wanted to have a little bit something more than all other folks because after all, everybody had big swimming pools in Texas. So our classmate flew back to Florida and he purchased the biggest and the meanest alligator that could be found anywhere in the state of Florida and had it shipped out to Texas and put in this great big pool. Now here's where Earl comes into the story. As some of you know who stayed around Alamance County, Earl's been real successful in his business. He's a big businessman. In fact of the matter, he is a big hunter too. He goes out to Wyoming every year, Texas, and he would be in the area and would like to stop by. Well, our classmate wanted to brag a little bit, show off his old class buddy Earl Brogdon, and also to show off this great big house and this great big swimming pool and this old mean alligator. He decided that he would put on a great big barbecue in honor of Earl. So Earl attended the barbecue, and it was certainly much bigger than the barbecue that we had last night, even though I think everybody enjoyed it. But Earl attended the barbecue, and the classmate from 1956 class of WHS introduced Earl. And after they all had their barbecue and a few drinks, he told them to come over to the edge of this great big pool. And he said, you see that great big green spot out in the middle of that swimming pool? He said, that's the biggest and the meanest alligator that can be found in these whole United States. And he said, if anybody would have guts enough to jump into that pool and swim across, that I'd give them $1,000 right here tonight. Well, all of you know Earl. Back in high school, Earl had a lot of guts, you know. And he always accepted a challenge in the dare. So, to everyone's surprise, just as soon as our classmate got this out of the mouth, here was Earl Brogdon in that swimming pool, swimming like mad across it, like from this alligator. Everyone was amazed. Our classmate told all his rich Texan friends, said, come on around the other side of this pool. And as Earl was crawling out, wiping the water out of his eyes, the classmate said, Earl, I'm greatly impressed. You gave it the old Walter Williams try. And if you'll wait right here just 1 minute, I'll get you your $1,000. Earl, standing there wiping water out of his eyes, said, man, I don't want your $1,000. I just want to get my hands on that SOB that pushed me in the pool. I tell that story to make one point. The reunion committee wanted as many of our classmates to attend, but we certainly didn't want to think that we were pushing anyone to come, even though one of them's telling a story that I threatened to put a warrant out on him if he didn't attend. Steve Coley, you here tonight? Well, the warrant's got to be issued. We certainly hope.
When I walk out of the room, one of them
Well, he's very.
You can't believe how fast the snakes
spend so much effort working on. You always were.
We take this.
Maybe he'll go away. That would be 42. Oh, he is. Don't worry. Oh, right. Okay. Coming. Buddy and Bobby.
Bobby's in Florida somewhere, I think.
Are they coming?
I don't think so.
Pause in our fellowship and recall the memory of our deceased classmates, and remember with gratitude that we were privileged for a short time to have had the company of Bill Beeland, Jimmy Dickey, Oliver Gillum, Emily Hay, Sylvia McAdams, Earl Mooneyham, Melvin Poole, Sarah Sharp, Petey Trollinger, Ronald Winfrey. Let us also remember our deceased teachers: C.C. Linneman, Joe Blanks, Ben Bowles, Richard Casey, Thelma Edwards, Mrs. Hunter, Mrs. Kickline, Fred Miller, Mrs. Poovey, Mrs. Rouse, Jack Russell, and Coach Seelinger. Could we have just a moment of quiet prayer, please?
Tonight, if I call your name, if you would stand up, let everyone see. Ms. Bateman?
Wait just a moment.
All right.
Thank you so much for allowing me to be with you tonight. I wish I could speak with all of you that knew me when you were in school. But hello, anyway.
Hello.
Mrs. Ladder? Claude Walker? Jimmy being a politician and one of our county or city councilmen, he may want to get up and make a speech. I don't know if you do or not.
I have a hard time getting up. I get a different life now.
I just want to thank you for the invitation. I think I have been looking forward to this as much as any single one of you. And I'll tell you why. That teaching I did in the 50s and then in the 60s at Elon were the happiest years of my life in the schoolroom. And I have decided it's because all of you were so smart. Smart aleck.
And I guess I saved W.A. Poovey for last because I knew he had to say something. He couldn't sit there and be quiet, so I'm sure he would get up here to say something. W.A.?
I'd like to introduce my wife, Mamie, to those who have met her. And I've been looking forward to this for 30 years. I was over at Williams High School, and one of my jobs that was put on me by Mr. Lindeman was, would you please check the restroom? And I walked into the restroom one day, and the first thing that I heard when I went into the door, somebody says, Hobart, where do you go this period? Hobart said, I go to Old Man Pooty. Now, I want to direct this next statement to Old Man Hobart Steele. You know, I was a math teacher over at Williams, and that was 30 years ago, and I'm now 73 years old. And anybody can subtract 30 from 73, it's 43. Now, about that time, Hobart was 18 years old, and now he's 30 years older, and he's 48. Now, damn it, if he can call me old man when I'm 43, I can call him old man when he's 48. We've enjoyed being with you. Thank you very much for the invitation. I like these reunions. Believe it or not, I went to one earlier this year. It was my 50th college graduation reunion. And believe it or not, we had 27 people present that was in our class in 1936. We would have had 28, but the valedictorian was killed in an automobile accident a week before the final reunion day. So she had made her reservations, but she didn't get there. So all of you be careful. And when you get ready for your 35th, we'll be ready to come.
They'll stand up and introduce their spouses or dates. If Hall, you can introduce your daughter. Whatever. Earl Brogdon.
Thank you, Mac. I got my pretty wife, Brenda, with me. She's the mother of 2 children, 23 and 18. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you, Earl. Another member.
I'd like to introduce my wife, Judy. And we decided those that didn't want to come, they're the ones going to miss this. You got it.
I enjoyed it, and I hope each one of you did. I have my wife, Linda, with me. We've been married almost 30 years. It'll be like Christmas. We have 3 children, and hope everyone has a fine time.
Matt Love, John Smith.
My wife, Shirley.
Attended a few of the meetings we had, and I said, I believe he has his daughter with him tonight.
Oh, you want, okay. This is my wife or son, I'm going to stick with it. JB told me I better not show up in divorce court again, so I'm going to keep going.
I'm freelance.
Well, I didn't do very much. This is my present wife, Bonnie, and we have 3 girls. Oh my God. One of them's 20, 18, and 14. So I've still got a... Mr. Poopy, I'll be here 5 or 10 years from now.
I'm here with my husband, Donald here, and I enjoy working on this, and I hope all of you are very much.
We are.
28-year-old and a 22-year-old, and I'm the grandmother of a 3-year-old. Thank you.
We did have a blast planning it. We hope everybody has a good time. And this is my husband, Bob. We have 4 children, 26, 21, 19, and 16. And we celebrate our 28th wedding anniversary tomorrow.
We'll have to test that tonight, but she helped us on our reunion committee, very helpful, and she entertained us last night very graciously. We appreciate Mary Ann Evelito. Visited every member of the class that he could find. James Haynes, where's James? Okay, what we'd like to do next is start with...
We had 3 children and 1 baby.
Graham, we've been married 22 years. We have 1 son and 2 grandchildren.
We have 2 children, a son and a daughter. We live in Columbia, South Carolina. I'm Jamie Krause White, so this is my husband Bob, and we have 2 children. We've been married for 30 years, so this is our anniversary too.
This is my wife, Pat, and I'm Sam Burke, and we have 3 children, 2 boys and a girl, and a grandson. 3 children. Jim and Lynette Satterfield. She has 3 children by her first marriage, 26, 23, and 15.
I'm Freeman Batten. I have 2 children, a son and a daughter, and I have a granddaughter and a grandson, and I can match their pictures with anybody in the room. This is my date, David Allen.
David Orange, my wife Leah. We have 2 kids, one 19 and one 17.
You gotta stand up. Because you did graduate with us. Hey, you'll be I'll be okay. This is Mary, and she did graduate with us. She lost a couple of pounds, but that's okay. We have 3 children, expecting 1 grandson.
And we have 3 children, boys 22 and 19, and a girl 13. I'm Henry Trocker, my wife Shirley. We have 4 kids and 2 grandchildren.
I'm Ray Burkus, my wife Earlene, been married 28 years, we have 1 daughter, 25.
I'm Earl Phillips. I'm sorry my wife could not attend, but we have 3 girls and 1 10-week-old grandson. Hey,
Maureen Pratt.
Can I let everybody see you again, or you? Okay, Darrell.
Like I got 2 sons, 27, 23, and this is my wife and best friend Grace.
Wife Susan, I have never said anything disrespectful about any teacher in my life. Before, and I hope I never do again. Our 14-year-old is locked in the car out here back. The Walla.
Let's start back up. Oh, okay, Roger.
I'm Roger Couchy. I live in Durham, and I have a wife somewhere in Seattle. We've been married 10 years.
Black. This is my ex-husband. I have a daughter, 27, I think. Yeah. I live in Orlando, Florida.
125, 121, 121 graduated from Williams about 3 years ago. And no grandkids.
Jim Turner is my wife Priscilla. We have one son, 25, and one granddaughter, 3.
Robert Campbell. I don't have a wife. This is my wife, Steve, Willie Kaiser. Between the two of us, we got 5 kids. I don't remember how old they are.
My husband Bill, we have 2 sons, 3 grandchildren, and we're expecting a 4th grandchild. I'm Barbara Horner Joyce. This is my husband Tom. We have 3 children and 2 grandsons. We've been married 31 years.
I'm Barbara Brown Smith. This is my husband of 30 years, Ron Smith. We have 2 children, a daughter 27 and a son 25. 2 dogs.
I have 3 children, a boy 20, a girl 18, a girl should be 15 Monday. And I'm particularly proud to be here with my dad. But Hobart, you have said something. I told my dad to tell what Hobart wrote in my annual and called my father. He called him Fearless Fozzie, J. Edgar, Sherlock Holmes. Don't you go.
Let's see, I believe we've got
We have 4 children and 1 granddaughter.
Fred Ball, my wife Leslie, have 2 children, 24 and 25, and their grandchildren.
Joel Walker, and I have 2 kids, Phyllis that came with me, and an 18-year-old at home.
I'm Tricia Gazelle Nicholson. I have 3 children and 1 new grandson. I'm Marie Baxway, and this is my husband Bill. We have 2 sons, 23 and 20, and a daughter, 17. Mary Ann Browning, my husband Joe. We have 2 boys, 23 and 21.
I'm Joel Wilson, the graduating class, 56, 57, 58. But I haven't, this is my wife, Bobby. It's so nice being here. Thank you.
This is my wife Marlene. We have twin sons, who's 25, and we ain't old enough to have any grandchildren. We've been married 29 years at Christmas.
I'm Bob Sight. This is my wife Janice. We have 3 children, 22, a boy 22, a girl 16, a boy 14. We've been married 18 years, August 17th.
Terry Payne, this is my wife Nancy, and my son and daughter.
I'm Jim Botany. This is my wife Glenda. We have 2 sons and 1 daughter, and 1 grandson, 6 years old. Thomas Smith, this is my wife Becky. We have 3 sons, 17, 15, and 9. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I'm thinking about having 3 more.
In St. Louis, and married, have 2 children, a daughter will be 23 in November, and a son who's 20. And I'm glad to have the opportunity to come back and refresh my accent.
I'm 1 going on 9.
In his office, I got real graciously sent home, and so Mr. Booty was looking around after us, that's for sure. I've got something that came through the office the other day I thought was real cute that I'd like to share with you and bring back some memories, some things. The way we were. We were born before television, before penicillin, the pill, polio shots, antibiotics, and Trixpies. Before frozen food, nylon, Dacron, Xerox, and Kinsey. We were before radar, fluorescent lights, credit cards, and ballpoint pens. For us, time sharing meant togetherness, not computers. A chip meant a piece of wood. Hardware meant hardware. Software wasn't even a word. In those days, bunnies were small rabbits, and rabbits were not Volkswagens. We were before Batman, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and Snoopy. Before DDT and vitamin pills, vodka in the United States, and the white wine craze, disposable diapers, Jeeps, and the Jefferson nickel. Before Scotch tape, M&M's, the automatic shift, and the Lincoln Continentals. When we were in college, pizza, Cheerios, frozen orange juice, instant coffee, and McDonald's were unheard of. We thought fast food was what we ate during Lent. We were before FM radio, tape recorders, electric typewriters, word processors, electric music, and disco dancing. We were before the pantyhose and drip dry clothes. Before ice makers and dishwashers, clothes dryers, freezers, and electric blankets. Before men wore long hair and earrings. And women wore tuxedos. We got married first, then lived together. How quaint can you be? In our day, cigarette smoking was fashionable. Grass was mowed. Coke was something you drank. Pot was something you cooked in. We were before the corn vending machines, jet planes, helicopters, and interstate highways. In 1938, made in Japan meant junk, and the term making out referred to how you did on exams. In our time, there were 5 and 10 cent stores where you could buy things for 5 and 10 cents. For just one nickel, you could ride the streetcar, make a phone call, buy a Coke, or buy enough stamps to mail 1 letter and 2 postcards. You could buy a new Chevy Coupe for $600, but who could afford that in 1938? Nobody. A pity too, because gas was 11 cents a gallon. We were not before the difference between the sexes were discovered, but we were before the sex changes. We just made do with what we had. We got a few gifts for our friends, and we got one special gift that Shirley wants to give this out personally because it had a lot of fun with it.
This is to the youngest member of our class.
And the cutest.
Oh no.
Several in the running for this one, but after looking around the room, I believe this deservedly goes to Big John. This is Ball is Beautiful.
You know, I would have normally probably worn my hair piece tonight, and I knew I was going to win this.
But I wasn't really sure whether David should have got it or Bill opened it.
Goes to the lady's got this swimming pool. Down in Texas. Beverly Durham.
To mention, I am married. My last name is Wheat. 25 and a half years. So I haven't given him up yet.
In our class. Well, he's not with us tonight.
Somebody said
Somebody had a 9-year-old.
9 years.
9 years, is that the
Anybody
youngest?
younger?
Anyone got anyone younger than 9?
He's wanting 3 more.
You got coffee involved? It's for the newlyweds, and this guy's been getting all the attention tonight. I believe he's the newlywed. Hoyle, has anybody been married less than Hoyle?
How long has he been married?
Well, I don't know if he's been married how long now?
4 years.
Daryl got it last time. Bring the man up here. Come on, get good.
Y'all are match point.
Uh-oh, what are we gonna do now? JB, I'm not coming back down again. Call me.
Nice day with
I'm gonna stick with this. Congratulations.
We want to recognize, and I'm going to call Earl Brogdon up and let him recognize this.
January, maybe, 2 or 3 times a month. Mac, Faye, we'd like for y'all to go out one night over to Cutting Board in someplace, have supper by yourself, and forget all of us and have a good time for all the times you put up with us in the last 6 months. Faye, Mac, y'all enjoy your supper on the committee. Thank you. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah. Excuse me 1 minute, Mac. By Biscuitville, Johnny Piper will tell you why. Johnny?
Joking, but that's the damn truth. I used to go to Biscuitville for breakfast. They got a new lady in there to work behind the counter. I went in one morning, she said, "You do get free coffee, don't you, sir?" I said, "No, I don't." The next morning, she said the same thing. "Sir, do you get free coffee? You are a senior citizen." Never been back in there. Don't intend to. All of us on the committee have enjoyed working for this reunion. We've had a heck of a good time. And we'd like to hear some response from any of you, and we'll have maybe a little short business meeting before JB has something he wants to say. And I guess our business would be that we don't know what our treasurer's report is. We don't know how close we are on money. We may have $1 over, or we may have $1 under, so we're running pretty close. We didn't have as many people come out as we expected to come out. So we will, if any of you are interested, want to call and find out at some point in time, we will have, and seriously, Hall will probably have an accounting of what we've done and what we have to go towards the next reunion.
Before we do that, I want, come up here, Shirley. Shirley, all of the committee worked real hard, but this lady right here, she took care of all the mailing, and she deserved a big hand. She really did. Margaret, if you would come up here. These lovely flowers that's sitting around on the table, Margaret took the bull by the horn, and she did that, and she deserves a big hand. Isn't this beautiful here tonight? Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to have a test, and you got to win it. If you really want to win one of these flowers, you got to play our game. Now they don't trust me as being the judge, so they are the judges. All I'm going to do is administer the test, Mr. Boogie, Mr. Walker, and they're going to judge who wins. I'm going to ask you a question. If you know the question, you raise your hand. Whoever raises her hand first Margaret and Shirley is going to decide, and then if you give the right answer, you win one of these flower arrangements. Okay? The first question is, you all watch. Who was nicknamed Dink in our class?
No.
Yeah. Wait a minute, no, wait a minute. Listen to the judges. Listen. Who's next?
Earl was next.
Earl? Demus Thompson wins! All right, Earl, you get, for your lovely bride, the flower arrangement on your table. All right, that's the way this game's going to go. The second question is, who was student body president in our 56th class?
Okay.
Who judges?
Joel.
Joel was first? Wait a minute. No, we're going to play this according to the rules now. They said Joel was first. Joel, what's your answer? Wrong. Who's next? Judges? Marianne?
Did you say the class or the student?
Who was student body president? You win. You can't just stick your hand up and expect to win. Okay. Listen to the question, folks. Teachers, y'all can play around. And really, we got one particular question, but y'all can play with us. We got one question for y'all in a minute. They can't even answer. Or they can't try. Who were two majorettes in our class that are here tonight?
Back up.
We'll do something. What are we going to do?
We can hug a lot. Yeah, do something.
Oh, we can hug a lot. Yeah, we can hug a lot. Hey, grandmother. You're going to have to get back a little bit, I think.
Yeah, but which one is that?
The red one will start it. Let me see. That thing with you.
Excuse me.
Yeah, go ahead.